It's a hard disease to live with. I hate to say harder than some others, but it's very hard for me because I've been so used in my life to be on the giving end of something, and in my pride, I didn't want to be on this end, ever, of having to receive from others. Maybe it's a thing of pride, but it's a blessing to be able to give and to serve others. And it's very difficult to be on the end where you have to receive and you have no choice.
She did with the last year of her life what I think all of us should do, and that she just gave and gave and gave and gave. She said that was when she had found her most joy and her most happiness, when she gave. I think if we all did that, we'd all find that that's where we find our most happiness.
I think she had a great attitude about life. Just because she had a disease, she didn't let that get in her way.
That she was a great person and she wanted to go to all our activities, like in school activities. If anybody had a play, she would always be there. She probably would never miss a moment of it.
She always talked good about her family. She was so proud of us. And that made me happy that she was so proud of us.
She was a great person. She always looked at the best out of things. She never blamed anybody else for what happened to her.
I remember her holding our little babies. I remember her around the piano. She was quite a piano player with our entire family, the kids and all, around the piano, singing. She had a lot of energy. She liked to play a lot, liked to party. The kind of party I mean is with the kids, go places and do things. We bought this farm about 23 years ago, and I worked hard and we got it paid for, and she and I were going to retire and take it easy. She hated to go because the fun. We've had fun all along, but it's getting to be more fun now because we're not in the crying baby stage.
Yeah.
It's prom time. She loved to make prom dresses. And she sure had a lot of faith with respect to this illness because she kept fighting it. In other words, we were going to all kinds of doctors and we were taking all kinds of remedies. When you get desperate, you start to do most anything. The afflicted person with ALS, their eyesight, their hearing, and their brain remain keen and alert clear up to death. They lose their other muscles, including the throat muscles, which affect their speech. In my wife's case, it was the diaphragm, which affected her lungs and took out her breathing. That's what took her life. I suppose I would say she was my sweetheart. She was a girlfriend of mine. In other words, she and I were special friends for all those years. And the thing is, everybody out there's got one. A sweetheart, a mother that they love, a husband or brother that they love.
Towards the very end of her disease, she needed quite a bit of help. And through this, I never knew how much helping another person can bring so much joy.
They'll come up with a cure for these muscular dystrophies soon. I know they will. It just takes the time and the money and the research and things like that. I wish that Mom could have been diagnosed. I wish she would have never, but if she were to be, I wish it could have been 3-5 years from now when there may be a cure, because I know it's right around the corner.
And the time will come, probably not so far away, when AIDS, muscular dystrophy, multiple sclerosis, and ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, will be just as much history as polio. And, but it won't happen if people like you and me and the listening audience don't rally behind and sacrifice ourselves. In other words, get into our pocketbooks and make a pledge and make a contribution, and then we can help eradicate these illnesses if we're willing to sacrifice and help Jerry Lewis and his kids. And then we'll have less of this kind of pain in our families.
From KFDM Channel 6, news coverage you can count on with John Gratafiore, meteorologist Gene Norman, and sports with Mike Sadie. From KFDM Channel 6, news coverage you can count on with John Gratafiore, meteorologist James Brown, and sports with Mike Sadie. From KFDM Channel 6, news coverage you can count on with John Gratafiore, Chief Meteorologist Greg Bostwick, and sports with Mike Sadie.
You're watching KFDM 6 News Tonight. Coverage you can count on with Bill Leger, Terry Anderson, Chief Meteorologist Greg Bostwick, and Greg Kerr with sports.
From KFDM Channel 6, news coverage you can count on with John Gratafiore, Chief Meteorologist Greg Bostwick, and sports with Mike Sadie. From